My name's Tony Wheeler. I'm actually visiting Vietnam from Australia. I'm over there actually primarily a tech startup mentor, advisor and angel investor and advisor to VC firms.
Having your hands in multiple different industries and business types, how do you think you will add value to the contestants today?
I think in terms of mentoring and providing feedback, I think whether you can either be a very specific specialist and actually give feedback around a specific, whether it's domain or industry or technology. As a business generalist, because I do have involvement in lots of different industries and have had multiple industries myself, I come a bit more from a broader perspective. So more general business advice in terms of how to actually start businesses, what it actually takes to be successful, and how to scale those businesses.
So people call you the blue-eyed assassin. What does this mean?
So I've been known to be referred to as the blue-eyed assassin, basically because apparently the exterior looks quite mild and meek, but the feedback actually tends to be quite harsh and direct. So yes, as I say, looks can be deceiving.
What do you think of the contestants today?
So the contestants that I've only met briefly so far today, they strike me as having a lot of passion and energy, which is obviously a key requirement for being an entrepreneur and building any startup. In terms of the specifics of their ideas and whether there's a real market for it, we're yet to find out.
What are you looking for in a great contestant?
So in a great contestant, I think, as just mentioned, actually passion and energy is one of them. But really, one of the biggest issues we have with startups, and number one reason for failure, is poor product market fit. So when people are actually coming and pitching, it's like, okay, yeah, you can be the most enthusiastic person in the world, you can present really well, but is there really a market for the idea that you're actually wanting to create? That might be the case, and if it is, then terrific. If not, then that doesn't mean your career's over. We actually still need to rechannel those energies into something that actually does have a good market potential.
What is that one thing when you see it, you're going to want to fix right away in these budding entrepreneurs?
What's the one thing I'm going to want to fix in these budding entrepreneurs? Well, that's a really tough question. I guess it's actually different for each one. I'm not sure if there's one thing, but typically it's very rare to find the complete package. But one of the things that we do look for is effectively overconfidence. You do need to be confident, you need to be able to present well, you need to be able to tell your story well, but if that goes too far and it actually goes into arrogance, then that actually falls into the characteristic basically for us of actually them not being coachable, and that makes them very hard to work with. So they need to be good at what they're doing, they need to be confident, but also need to be willing to learn.
The contestants are going to pitch tomorrow in front of a panel of judges, and you're not one of them. How would you train them to be able to appeal to all types of different investors?
Appealing to all types of investors, and particularly if you've got a panel of judges that are actually all have different backgrounds, is very challenging, and particularly when you've only got a couple of minutes to do so. So oftentimes we'd actually ask people to research who the potential investors are going to be, who their audience is going to be, and make sure that you're actually addressing what you know as their key points. If you don't know who those people are up front, and you haven't had the opportunity to do the research, then you need to actually make the presentation style quite generalist in terms of actually ticking off some key boxes. And that is very much about, do I present well, do I present confidently, do I appear to be trustworthy? Are these people actually going to be able to trust I'm actually going to be able to execute and deliver on what I'm actually saying I can? Do I have credibility? There's some general rules about those sorts of things, and hopefully we can actually work with the contestants to actually build that.
Can you tell us a story of when you really gave somebody very critical feedback?
When I gave someone very critical feedback, it's very common and quite often. Recently one was actually just very succinctly around, really like you as a person, great founder, very backable, but your idea is terrible. Let's sit down and talk about a new idea.
What was that one time when you were completely blown away by a new idea, or has that never happened before?
When was the one time I was actually completely blown away? I'm not sure if there has been one, because we see so many, but there is an individual in Australia. He's a young guy, and I won't mention names, but basically his passion and his enthusiasm to start a company whilst he was still a teenager, but to actually deliver, to execute, and to build amazing traction at such a young age, he immediately comes to mind, and he had all of the ingredients that we're looking for.